In a quiet neighborhood, there stands a notorious 7-story condominium, known not for good reasons. It all began when a woman named Theory fell to her death from the 5th-floor balcony, turning the condominium into a site rumored to be haunted. Theory was a married woman who had lived in the condo with her husband for more than a year. A few months before her death, neighbors began hearing loud arguments from their apartment almost every night. Theory had discovered that her husband was having an affair, which led to frequent conflicts between them. Eventually, the two separated, and her husband moved out. After that, no one saw Theory leave her apartment anymore. Then, one day, she fell from the 5th floor and died. The residents were horrified and argued about whether it was an accident or murder, though the police ruled it an accident. But the incidents didn't stop there. Rumors of the condo being haunted spread, and no one dared to live in Theory's now vacant apartment on the 5th floor. Eventually, a man named Zaw bought it. He got it for a low price and didn't believe in ghosts, so he ignored his friend's warnings. When Zaw moved in, neighbors watched with curiosity, expecting something strange to happen. The first night, Zaw returned home around midnight. The building was deserted as he stepped into the elevator and pressed the button for the 5th floor. Suddenly, the elevator door reopened by itself. Though startled, he dismissed it and pressed the button again. As he reached the 5th floor and exited, he felt as though he'd nearly bumped into a woman trying to enter the elevator. But when he turned, she was gone, leaving him puzzled. Feeling unsettled, he returned to his apartment. When Zaw reached his room, it was completely dark inside, so he had to fumble around for a moment before finally finding and switching on the light. Reaching his apartment, Zaw noticed it smelled musty. He opened the balcony door to let fresh air in. Thinking about the woman he'd seen in the elevator, who wore a blue dress, muttering to himself about what a strange encounter it was, he decided to sleep. But as he lay in bed, someone started banging on his door from outside. Assuming it was a neighbor, he got up to check. But the knocking stopped just as he opened the door. Looking around, he saw no one in the hallway under the dim lights. He thought he must have imagined it, shrugged, and went back to bed. As he lay down again, he was hit by an overwhelming smell of decay, like a dead body. He decided to thoroughly clean the apartment the next day. Drifting off, Zaw had a vivid nightmare where the woman in the blue dress from the elevator strangled him. He awoke in shock, gasping for breath, and opened his eyes to see her sitting on him, strangling him in real life. He shouted and jumped out of bed, but when he looked around, she was gone. Thinking it was just a bad dream brought on by stress, he lay down again. Just as he began to fall asleep, he noticed a shadowy figure on the balcony. Wondering if a thief had climbed up to the 5th floor, he rushed outside. But the balcony was empty. Then, a woman's soft voice whispered in his ear, "Men are all unfaithful." Chills ran down Zaw's spine as he turned to see the woman in the blue dress standing right in front of him. The next morning, The neighborhood was shocked to hear that Zha had fallen to his death from the balcony of the haunted fifth-floor apartment. People in the neighborhood whispered that it was no accident.